Hi everybody and welcome to another Pilates session. You're joining me today from the Pilates Turning Tide studio. Turning Tide is a small studio out in Titirangi in West Auckland. I'm sitting on a reformer, which is one of the traditional pieces of Pilates equipment. The reformer has a set of springs on it, and the springs help you to control movements in each direction, which is sometimes in mat work and my sessions with you while we use a Dynaband, a TheraBand, because it makes you more aware of movement in both directions. That said, we're not using TheraBands today, and I'm sitting on the reformer, but you'll be fine sitting on your chair, okay? So let's make a start. Bring yourself into a nice, comfortable, seated position. Now, when I say comfortable, it's not a sort of relaxed slumped, it's a very purposeful sitting position. So you're trying not to lean back into the back of the chair behind you, but just keep your spine nice and long and straight, sitting away from that if you can. As you do that, you're going to be using your abdominal muscles. So you're going to be pulling your belly button in towards the spine just to help you maintain that nice upright posture. So the work that you're doing in the abdominals just with your posture, it's not a really hard, intense grip. It's just a sense of awareness and connection. So you can feel a little bit of a pull of the navel into the spine. I'd call that like 40%. So not super hard, but you know that you're doing that little bit of work there. Okay? I've got my feet hip distance apart. So for me, my feet can go parallel. Most important, we're trying not to turn the knees in, but to have the center of the knee tracking down over the second toe. You could be a little bit turned out if that suits you. So if we draw some train track alignment, we go second toe, center of the knee, tips of the hips, tips of the shoulders, and then that would be pointing straight up in that continued kind of parallel line. Hands are just resting by your sides, and we're going to think about our breath as we start to move. Inhale to bring the shoulders up, and exhale, draw the shoulders down. Again, inhale, we'll bring the shoulders up, and exhale, draw the shoulders down. Let's go twice more. Inhale, elevate, exhale, drop down, and again, inhale, elevate, and exhale, drop down. So that was for up and down. Let's go forward, like you're trying to squeeze them together in front of you and draw them back, like you're trying to pull your shoulder blades together behind. Forward with the shoulders and back. I'm trying not to change my spine, but just to think a little bit more about pulling the shoulder joint itself, the head of that bone, the humerus, comes forward and then it comes back. Then we're going to make like a little diamond. We're going to put those 4 points together. So the up high, the coming forward, the dropping down, and the squeezing back. So not a circle, but 4 points. Up high, we go forward, we drop down, we squeeze back. We're going to go 2 more in this direction, dropping down, squeezing back, and 1 more time this way, forward, drop down, and then we'll go in the other direction. So we drop down and then we squeeze back. We come up, we go forward, we drop down, we pull back, we lift up, we come forward, and again we go back, down, back, up, and forward, and 1 more time, down, back, up, and forward, and then release. Okay, they should feel like they've done a little bit of work. Let's just leave them there. We'll focus on the head and neck. First thing we're going to do is just draw the head back a little bit, like somebody had popped a screen up in front of you, something's too close and you need to just draw your head back. With that sense of drawing the head back a little bit, we're going to draw ear to the shoulder on one side and then come all the way up. Ear to the shoulder on the other side. So I'm inclining my head. Ear to shoulder on one side. You might get a bit of a stretch through the neck. We're going to do that 1 more time on each side. And then we're going to link those 2 things together with a little neck roll. So we go back ear to shoulder, then roll the chin to the chest, go ear to the other shoulder, and then we'll go back the way we came. And then just bring the head up to center. So then we'll go the other way. Ear to shoulder, roll the chin to the chest, ear to the other shoulder, go back the way you came, and then come up. We've got 2 more. So we go back ear to shoulder, roll the chin to the chest, Roll back the way you came. Good. Look to the center. And then let's go the other way. Ear to the other shoulder first. Roll the chin to the chest. Ear back to the other shoulder. Good. And then up. Excellent. All right, now we're going to look over the shoulder. So we're going to try and rotate the neck. Try not to move the spine or the torso. You're going to look over one shoulder and come to the center. Look over the other shoulder and come back to center. So we just do that a few times, looking one way and looking the other way. Excellent. One more. Excellent. Back to center. Now, I'm not a big fan of kind of dropping the head back and just letting the neck roll, but we're going to think more about that connecting with the chest. So rather than just dropping the head back, lift the breastbone up a little bit. So I'm starting you to move your spine now. So not so much the neck, but more about the upper back. And I've got a nice little logo from the studio here, right in the center. If there was a laser beam coming out of that logo, the laser beam would be pointing up and down. So my head pretty much stays in line with my spine. So if I go side on, that's me pointing straight ahead, and I've just got that little lift up. So it's not head, it is a little bit of spine. And we'll do that one more time. Excellent. So that's a little bit of that upper back extension. Now we're going to go right to the low back and do some flexion, some rounding back. So we're going to tuck under and then roll back. So we sometimes talk about like a comedy punch, that sense that someone's pushing you or punching you in the middle and you're coming away from that punch, kind of like a cartoon sort of punch. With this one, your spine might be coming to the back of the chair. And I'm also thinking of pulling my abdominals in a bit deeper. So that sort of 40% I talked about earlier, now you're thinking a little bit more like a sort of 80%, pulling the belly in to roll back. Pulling the belly in. So try not to do it with your upper body so much. It's really easy to come into here. Can you think of just pulling into here? We'll do it one more time. Okay, now you know I like a brain gym and a sequence. So we're going to try and do that little upper back extension and then that low back flexion, putting those two moves together. Lift the chest and tuck the pelvis under. Upper back extension, low back flexion. Good. Upper back extension, low back flexion. And this is quite hard for the body because the shapes we're asking the body to do are almost the opposite of the shapes that the body naturally does. Let me show you what I mean. So rather than a chest lift, we're often here in that upper back. And rather than a roll back, we often kind of round the back and we're kind of like in that big arch. So that can often happen, you know, when people stand. So we're doing the reverse of those. Anyway, that's enough of that. We've done flexion, we've done extension. So now we're going to do some rotation. Opposite hand across to the leg. Other hand behind you on your chair frame, your chair leg. I can go right behind because I don't have a back. So wherever you can go, give yourself a little assist to twist and breathe out. Breathe in to release that twist a little bit. And breathe out, go into that twist again. So now the spine is very straight. We're trying to rotate. We'll do two more on this side. So very much moving in and then releasing out and then moving in and then releasing out. Then we'll go the other side. So other hand across, other hand behind. So we go into that twist using our hands to help us and then we have a little release. We move into that twist and then we have a little release. Trying to keep your gaze level so you're not looking down at the floor, kind of looking up and out. Good, one more of those, all the way out. Lovely, so that was an assisted twist using our hands to help us, okay? What we're going to do now is try and use the abdominals to help us twist a little bit, okay? So rather than using the hands, it's abdominals. We're going to interlace the hands in front of you like you're holding a big ball or lots of fruit, a basket laden with fruit, something like that. Now that little roll back, that tuck back we did earlier, we're going to do that. You're going to tuck back, then you're going to twist. So I'm going one way. I'm not using my hands to help me now. I'm using my abdominal muscles, my obliques. We're going to try and do that side to side. So I haven't collapsed my upper body, can still see out along the horizon. I've tucked my pelvis under. One more on each side of those, and it's your obliques that bring you around. And then we'll come up, rest the arms and circle the shoulders. Excellent. So we're going to do it again. This time we're going to go the other way, and I'm going to change the arm shape. You can stay with the curve, but we'll do the little sort of genie arms that we've done before. But we're not sitting upright this time. We're in that curved back shape. Hold your tummy strong. Turn the other way to start and come center. The weight is even through my feet. You might not have a big range here. Just do what you can. Take yourself into that twist. Lovely. Let's keep this going. And again, we're going to do one more on each side if you can. Maybe think of breathing out as you twist. Inhale, center, breathe out as you twist. Inhale, center, sit up, release the arms and roll the shoulders. Okay, so we've covered off quite a lot with the upper body, but let's now think about extremities. So I'm talking about toes and fingers now. Just give them a wiggle. Wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers as much as you can. Just get them active, get them aware. And then if you're able to, you're going to scrunch. If this is tricky with your feet, don't worry, just do your hands and then try and spread wide. So try and do a little scrunch and then a spread wide. A little scrunch and a spread wide. And we'll do that 3 more times. Scrunch and spread, scrunch and spread, and one more. Excellent. And then rest. Okay, let's do some some wrist circles first. Round and round we go. But that is what I'm going to ask you to think about next. So we've got some wrist circles going in one direction, and then we're going to do wrist circles going in the other direction. Excellent. All right. So rest the arms. You can lengthen out the legs, and we're going to try and do some ankle circles. Round and round in one direction. And then we're going to go round and round in the other direction. Okay, here's the brain gym. Let's try and do everything circling. Just move. Don't worry too much if you don't know which direction anything is going in. Sometimes like you, after about the 4th one, you're kind of on a bit of a roll. So we're going to do a few more. We're going to do 8 in this direction. And then we're going to try and do 8 in the other direction. Okay, so that's everything circling, everything having a little move around. Great. Okay, so here's the brain gym. This wrist, this foot. Try not to do the others. Circling round, we'll do 4 each way. So we've really got to find that diagonal connection back the other way, that oppositional. It's cross patterning, which is the movement we do when we're walking, opposite arm and leg moving. All right, let's see if we can do that on the other side. So wrist and ankle circling on the other diagonal. Good, and then back the other way. Circling, 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 circling and resting. Okay, that was a bit of brain gym. Let's think now a little bit more about legs and hips. So for the hips, we are now going to start with the knees together. I'm thinking about the hip joint itself. So the knees and the feet are going to try and follow the movement that I'm setting in my hip joint. I'm going to open out my thighs and my knees fall out, my feet fall out, but I'm trying to roll out through there. And then I'm going to squeeze in and do 2 little pulses. Those 2 squeezes in, there's not much to see, but there's quite a lot going on. So we're going to open out the legs, bring them back together and squeeze in and in. Good. So we open out, lovely tall spine, squeeze the legs towards each other and pulse in and in. We'll do 3 more of these, opening out, coming in, squeeze those inner thighs once and twice. Lovely. Open out. Bring them back in. So we're working the inner seams of the body with those pulses. 1 more like this. Open out, come in. And then we squeeze and we squeeze and we release. Okay, now we're doing zigzag feet. So with zigzag feet, it's actually zigzag hips. We turn out like we've already done, but then you leave your toes where they are and you go in with the knees. So internal rotation. Then you leave the heels where they are and you go out. You try and leave your toes where they are to go even wider, and then we'll walk that in. So I go heels, I go toes, I go heels, I go toes, and then I go a bit more heels. So I'm back where I started. I'm going to go toes, I'm going to go heels, I'm going to go toes, I'm going to go heels, I'm going to go heels and toes, and heels and toes, and then just an extra squish to reset. Twice more. Tall spine. Turning those legs in and out. Let's see if we can go one more. And then walk it in, walk it in. So you're pivoting from your toes to your heels. Now, when I come in, I always need to do a bit more than when I go out. So when I come back in together, my feet haven't quite touched, and that's fine. Just give it an extra squeeze at the bottom, or squeeze when you come back to that finish point. This is our last one of these, and just bring it all in. Okay, some leg lifts. So we're gonna have a nice strong tummy. Hands can be on the hips on your chair, but try not to use your arms. And we're gonna try and bring a leg up and down. So I've got to use my core and my stomach muscles to help my spine be tall. So we're back to that 80% of work. If the lift is too much for you, you can do a reach out. That's fine. You can do a little heel tap. Okay, good. Keep that lovely tall spine. Okay, let's see if we can go 4 more, 3 more. Actually, I think we need to do 3 more from here because I started on that leg. 1 and pause. Okay. Now, I talked about cross patterning a little bit earlier. That was that opposite arm and leg. We're going to try and do that, but also have a twist. So there's some nice abdominal work going on. So the legs are going to do what they've already done, or tap out. The upper body is going to be in our curve. So let's start with this one. Nice rounded arms, like you're holding a barrel of fruit or lots of flowers, something lovely. Roll back, find your curve. Now, as I turn that way, I'm gonna lift up that leg and then come to center. And then I'm gonna lift up the other leg. So when you turn into the leg, that's the leg you lift. Now, if this is too much, choose to just do the legs or just do the upper body. If you want, this can be a tap forwards. You can go heel tap forwards. We're just gonna do 2 more like this. And then you're gonna come back to center. You're gonna sit up and release the arms. Roll the shoulders around. Okay, we are nearly there. We just need to do 1 more time with that genie arm shape. So can you roll back? Now I'm gonna start by going that way, and that will be the leg that I move. Here we go. Can we lift it up? So lots of nice deep abdominal work going, rotating the spine, cross patterning, abdominal work. We're ticking a lot of boxes. Coordination, brain gym. You've got 1 to go. And then come all the way up and release. Okay, that's been a lot of work. We've gone right from the head all the way down to the toes. So we're just gonna finish with a couple of nice stretches and thinking about our breath. I'm gonna get you to extend 1 leg forward and just leave it there. Either just draw the toes up towards you or lean forwards a little bit, or you can do both. So the stretch that you might be getting might be in your back, it might be in the hamstring, it might be in the calf. We call that the posterior chain. It's the sequence of muscles, or the set of muscles that goes all the way around our back in that posterior, the back line of the body. Deep breath in, deep breath out. And then bring yourself up. Let's do the other side. So other leg out, lean yourself forwards. So this wants to be a comfortable kind of stretch. You don't want to feel like it's agony, like there's any pinching. If there is, come out of it, don't hold it. You want to be able to breathe deeply and feel like you've done some really nice movement today, which you have. Good, and then gently let's come back. All right, let's roll the shoulders all the way around and back and down 3 times. Lovely upright spine, not leaning into the chair. And then we'll finish with some shoulder shrugs. Inhale, lift them high. Exhale, drop them down. Lovely. Inhale, lift them high. Exhale, drop them down. And 1 more time. Inhale, lift them high. Exhale, drop them down. And we're done. Thanks for joining me in the Pilates studio. I hope you liked seeing a slightly different surroundings. Nice work today, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.